that was such an incredible shock for me, you know, egotistical wise and everything, but I really got taught a lesson, you know. So I took the bullocks off the side street, unhitched the wagon, walked them back to the farm. That's got to be a good 10, 12 kilometres either way. And it was a Codicil fasting, right? And it was a Saturday, and I got back to the farm, and I was standing, you know, to get a little bit of Ma Prashadam from the 6:30 offering, 6 o'clock offering, 6:30, right? Then Narada Muni, was the vice temple president at the time. He said, "Oh, you've got to cook the late offering tonight." And I was scheduled to do it, but somehow or another thought I was exempt because I'd been doing something else. No, you've got to do it. Oh, all right. So I cooked that offering. And by that time, I still had 3 or 4 rounds to chant. So I thought, well, I'll eat the prashadam and I'll finish my rounds. That'll be the way to go. So I had some prashadam and then started chanting my rounds. That might, you know, that offering is like, comes out at 9 o'clock or 9:30, something like that, right? So I started chanting, and I was starting to feel tired. Anyway, I kept on going, but I was so kind of tired. I was actually falling asleep while I was chanting, and it actually was taking me like 2 or 3 hours to chant a round, you know, and I thought, this is hopeless. So I just took rest, chanted them the next day, but that was like the icing on the cake of my defeat. After you make a vow, you should really finish those rounds. But Prabhupada said, okay, for some reason or other you don't finish that day, you must make them before you eat, or, you know, sleep the next day, you must chant them. So anyway, I learned a lesson from that. And I'll tell you a very nice story Lugudi told me once. He said he was at Kola River Farm and he used to exercise the horse during japa sometimes, right? So one day a piece of paper flitted across the path of the horse in the wind. It spooked him, so he bolted. And Lugudi was thrown out of the saddle, but he had his foot caught in a stirrup. So he was bouncing along behind the horse, right? And they took him to hospital, and it took him a long time to finish those rounds. So he said that he made a vow then that he will never do anything till he finishes his rounds. So at that time, when I was trying to work with the bullocks and everything, I'd go down and visit Lugudi, and we'd, you know, I'd just try to help him out in different ways. So one time he asked me, have you finished your rounds? And I said, no, I've still got 4 to go. He said, well, don't come here. Finish those rounds. And it was very good advice. So after that, I don't know how these 2 incidents worked in together, but I finished my rounds. The thing is, here's another story. You look at that picture of Double Bay 1974, you'll see, I don't know about anyone else, but I was like a speed freak. And I get up and whiz around. I'm just trying to get a bath and get everything done and start on my japa and get on over and done with. That's kind of the mentality for somebody like me in these early stages, right? It's hard to get rid of some of these, you know, answers in chanting. So actually I used to chant my rounds 2.5 minutes around. Can you believe that? I must have been just kind of skipping over the beads or something. But definitely was a bit of gibberish coming out, not necessarily the holy name. So one time Tripurari Maharaj, he came, Double Bay 1974, and he was standing next to me. And he said, how many rounds have you chanted? He was kind of checking me out, and I could feel it, but you can't change. How many rounds to chant? And I think I'd done about 40-something rounds. But if you divide that by 2.5 minutes, it doesn't mean much, you know? Because I just happened to gotten up early that day. So he's diplomatic. He said, that's very good. So now you've got the quantity down. Now's the time to, you know, concentrate on the quality. So, you know, I took it on board, which, you know, went in one ear, but you don't change overnight. Sometime later I was in New Zealand. This was probably about 1977, 78. And a very nice devotee, Dasarath was a brahmachari, probably still is, and judging by his kind of nature, really gung-ho, I don't know. But anyway, he said to me once, he said, Prabhu, your rounds are atrocious. By that time I'd gotten them down to 5 minutes around, and I thought I was doing really good, right? And that was kind of a shock. But one time I was listening to a tape that Jamal Arjun was playing in the kitchen in Auckland, and it was a tape of Prabhupada singing with a pair of cartels verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nama Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sarud Bhavastana Nirudililaya Grihita Shakti Chitadaya Dehinam Anta Bhavayana Laksha Pavatmane. That's a chapter from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It chants the whole chapter. And sings it with a pair of cartels. That's unique. You know, it was like a whole melody. And I was so intensely attracted. I thought, isn't that beautiful? And also prayers by Queen Kunti, I think he was chanting also. So I thought, let me try to memorize some of those verses. So doing japa, I'd be meditating on these verses, trying to learn them. The Bhagavatam were there, or look at the Bhagavatam between rounds or something, look at the Bhagavatam. So actually, I found that my rounds really improved. And I wasn't feeling that tired anymore. Sometimes you slip off and have a bit of a nap before Bhagavatam class because, you know, your rounds are mechanical and you're actually just trying to get them out there and done, and you're sort of falling asleep, right? And that was a whole new experience. So the rounds went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, then to 12 minutes. Eventually, straw with the grain in it, fenugreek or whatever, roll it up and put it on a tarpaulin and then drag it around and fix it up and then walk the bullocks around on top. So that's what I did. So after an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours maximum, walking the bullocks around on top of this fenugreek, it all came out. It was like, and we got a 50 kilo drum of fenugreek, which might not be tons, but it was how much fenugreek do you really need? And fenugreek is a really incredible. It's in the Middle Ages or late Middle Ages of Middle Ages of England, fenugreek was the top herb for health. It's a great thing, fenugreek. So that was like we cracked another kind of a whole part of the agricultural scene. So we knew how to plough, we knew how to plant, we knew how to harvest. So it was all on. So it was basically we'd sort of rediscovered. But we had to go back with it even further. Forget even about, you know, anything horse-drawn or bullock-drawn, really. Do it by hand as a go, you know, not such great amounts. And, you know, so that was that, and we did that. And I continued to do that for many, many years. But after, and we had, I used to do the offerings, some offerings, once or twice a week for the deities in the evening. So when you start offering things that you've grown on the farm, it becomes like, you know, it's a whole different dimension. Instead of, oh no, I'm scheduled for this offering, you know, geez, open up the door, you know, cauliflower, we'll deep fry that, you know, potato, we'll deep fry that, and, you know, eggplant, and we'll throw it all together and it'll be an opulent sabji, plenty of ghee, and, you know, whatever we do, it'll be successful. And you don't have to think much. We already know what we do it every time, and that's it, right? But when you start putting things on that you've grown, it's a whole different dimension. So after a while, you've grown 2 or 3 or 4 things. You think, maybe I make the whole offering out of, you know, what we've grown from the farm. So that was another whole sort of a dimension, and we did that. And devotees remember that. We used to have these offerings, the 8:30 offering. It was everything from the farm, except for basically maybe salt. But, you know, we used to make dahi wadas. You know, I used to make chapatis rather than puris because I didn't want to, you know, didn't want to deep fry things in ghee. We only had a limited amount of ghee. You know, laddu, halva, pretty much anything that we're having in the offerings now, we did it all from the farm. You know, very nice. So that was like a real success. You know, limited but something.